Welcome back to another video.
So since we have moved to Canada and started making these videos, a lot of our friends of friends, and even some of you viewers have been reaching out to us with a lot of questions regarding how we planned our move, found our jobs, is Canadian experience required, etc.
So today we are going to answer the top 10 most requested questions. So if you find this helpful or you know someone who will, smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and share this video with them. Stay tuned. As you may be aware, Nikita and I had applied for a Canadian PR together. So the first question we have is, since you applied as a couple, did both of you take the IELTS exam?
So both of us taking IELTS exam was not required. Only the primary applicant has to take the IELTS exam. However, we still went ahead and took the IELTS exam for both of us to boost our CRS score. So the next question is, did you take any classes to prepare for your IELTS exams?
No, we did not. So Nikita and I were in the US for the past 8 years, and English was a primary source of communication with everyone there, which is why we didn't have to take any classes. And once we registered for the IELTS exam and received our handbook, we just went through it to understand how the IELTS format looks like.
So how much time did you spend for preparing for this exam?
Between you and I think we started 1 week before the exam, and because we were working at the same time, we were only able to spend a couple of hours each day on the preparation. So Nikita, did you have to use an agent to navigate the whole PR process?
No, we did not use any agent and did everything on our own. So the instructions on CIC website are pretty detailed and pretty clear. So save yourself some money and do not go with an agent. If we could do it, so can you.
And if you want to know more about the steps of the PR application process in detail, drop a comment down below and we'll make a video on it.
So Anish, you moved to Canada on 1st of September. So what made you move to Canada in the middle of a global pandemic?
That's a very interesting story. We never saw ourselves living in the US long term because we were there on a work visa. We had applied for our Canadian PR and even received it in 2019, but we'd never decided when we were actually going to move to Canada. In 2020, we started preliminary talks on when we would be moving there, but never finalized a concrete date. But then in March of 2020, the global pandemic happened. And then all of a sudden, we started seeing all of these posts from people in the same scenario as us, where they had lost their jobs and had 60 days to either find one or leave the country for good. We never wanted to be in that scenario, and we decided to bump up our timeline. And we decided on 1st of September as the date we want to move. The reason why we chose 1st of September is because our lease in Atlanta was ending in September itself. So we decided, why not just make the leap then? So Nikita, what made you choose Toronto as your final destination?
So we both are software engineers by profession. So number one criteria while finalizing a city was the number of jobs in both our domains. So that led us to narrow down our search to two cities, which is Toronto and Vancouver. Then we started looking at real estate, cost of living, weather. So both these cities had their own pros and cons. So ultimately the decision boiled down to which city has more of our friends and family. And that is why we selected Toronto as our final destination. Anish, why did you choose to stay in an Airbnb for the first month in Canada?
So the reason why we decided to stay in an Airbnb for the first month is when you're moving to a new city, let alone a completely new country, it's very difficult to gauge the real estate market without even being there. So we wanted to take this opportunity to first explore the city in the first month, get to know which areas are good to stay in, which ones we want to stay away from, and what the prices are for each locality. So that is why we decided to stay in an Airbnb. Nikita, what made you decide to move to Canada with just your bags and nothing else?
So I'm going to answer this question in multiple points. First is peak COVID. So when we decided to move to Canada, it was in July, and the rules and regulations were constantly changing. Next is our first 14 days of quarantine. So if we would have shipped everything and by chance our shipment got stuck in customs, we would have not been able to clear our shipment for the first 14 days. Next is our Airbnb. So for the first 30 days, we were going to stay in an Airbnb. And if we would have shipped everything, where would we have kept our furniture in an Airbnb? The fourth point is the sizes of condo in Toronto. So the size of apartment in Atlanta is usually bigger than the size of condos in Toronto. So none of our furniture from our Atlanta house would have fit in the Toronto condo. So that's why we wanted to downsize, and we started from new in Toronto. Anish, can you use your US credit history in Canada?
That's a very good question. And the answer is, it depends. But most of the time, no. So Canada does not really consider any other credit history other than its own, but in very special circumstances, you may be able to use a US credit history. So for example, when I was applying for a BMO credit card, they never considered my US credit history, and I got started off with a very basic starter card. But when Nikita went to HSBC to apply for her credit card, they were gracious enough to consider her US credit score, and she got started off with a much better credit card with better benefits. Nikita, when you moved to Canada, did you keep your US jobs or did you start fresh?
So when we decided to move to Canada, we wanted to have a fresh start and did not want to keep both of our old jobs. So this was a very calculated risk that we were willing to take in the middle of a pandemic. So we only made this decision when we looked at our finances and we were confident that we have 6 months of saving to live in Canada without any job. Our plan was to look for a job in our domain with our expertise for the first 6 months, and if we do not get a job in the first 6 months, then look for a survival job. But luckily, we didn't have to go through any of this, and we had a job when it was required. So Anish, is it true that to find a job in Canada, you need to have some sort of Canadian experience?
Alright, this feels like a Mythbusters episode. Is it true or is it not? So, as with most answers, the answer is it depends. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm in the software engineering domain, Nikita is in the software engineering domain. And if you're a software engineer and you know how to code in one country, you know how to code in every other country. But if you are in some sort of a licensed profession, yes, some employers may ask you for certifications that prove you're qualified to practice in Canada. Now, for software engineers and being an interviewer on my current company's interview panel, I can tell you with confidence that we are not allowed to ask you if you have Canadian experience. We are only judging you objectively based on your merits. So it's entirely up to you to prove that you're qualified for this job.
So even for me, I am also interviewing with my current company and recruiting more candidates. So if you want to know about our experience, how we got our job, Anish got his job before even landing in Canada, and I got 3 job offers in hand when I started looking for a job. So if you want to know all of this and how to create your resume, how to get it past the ATS system, so leave a comment down below and we'll make all these videos and help you find a job in Canada.
As always, if you like this video, smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and comment down below with what your favorite question and answer was from this particular video. Stay tuned for other videos to come, and have a nice day. Bye.